Hello, everybody, and welcome to your daily lighting critique. This is my last live video one for the month of August. I will be back again in December. I meant to check who's doing, and so you'll have a new critiquer coming in September. But let's jump in. I do have the written critique tomorrow, so I'll still be around for another day before I disappear from critiquing. But just wanted to get that out of the way. All right, cool. So we've got Andre and Carolina here live, so we will start with them. So Andre, I think this looks great. I think that you've got some good specularity here. I love, the specularity on this line, little bits here and there in the shadows, all that good stuff. Last super final tweak is I just think the garlic cloves are a little bit too bright. And if they were here, I think it's a fine value, but because they're kind of down to the side, my eye keeps getting drawn down here. So I would just roll off the highlights a little bit on those, and then I call it done.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but it looks great, man. Any other concern, like any questions about it or anything? I think you did a great job.
No, I think it's good, and I really like the way it came out. So
yeah. Good. All right, cool. All right, Carolina, you are on live as well. So I was just saying right before we started recording that I didn't know that this was a animated shot. So all the notes were still on the table. Like everything is all good. The only thing that I would say is that now that it's animated, I would like to see that blue value ramp up on her as she approaches. So she's kind of like lunging at it, and I want to feel, because I'm always big on this, and this is something that A, always plays out really well, and B, is off like a common thing from art directors that I've worked with, is that you always want to create a connection with the lighting between your character and the object of their desire, or so whether it's, and we'll talk about this a little bit with Amanda's, like whether it's tying in this pumpkin glow to the character, but you just kind of want everything to kind of like live in a space where it's kind of making sense. So as she's approaching, I just want to see that blue glow a little bit more on her hands, maybe even, let's see if we can pull this off. It's small, although you already got it. I'd say maybe even like, I was gonna say having it glow a little brighter in her eyes, but I think you're fine there. So that would be about it. Oh, there's something funny that happens, and this is also something nice about viewing things, viewing something animated, is that when you watch it when it wraps around from the last frame to the first frame, like watching here as we wrap around, like something kind of pops, like on the crystal. So just make sure that you don't have like a sliding roto or Bezier curve or something on this. That comes up too. Like sometimes something will just be animated in your comp and you won't realize it until you see that. Something else I'm just realizing too. There's these little things in the background here. They're a little bit green. I would just pull the green back on them a little bit. Do you have any other questions? Are you feeling good about this?
If you can repeat about the hand, a little bit more strong.
Oh yeah, just the blue light that's on the character. Actually, it's overall. I just want to see more of that blue glow as she gets closer to it.
Oh, okay.
Now that she's moving, because I really want to feel that connection between her and what she's like, because she's diving, right? Like she really wants this thing. I don't put myself in that body position for very much. It's actually, she might be floating. I was reading this as a slow motion dive, but either way, she really wants this thing. And so like feeling that connection between it would be really cool. I just watched Lightyear this weekend for the first time, and I saw your shot, and I was like, I know that shot. The one that you originally used for reference. And I was like, it's fun. It actually, you know what? I just realized it now, because I wanted to go back and look at the reference you used, because when I was watching the film, I thought, oh, this is actually a little bit brighter than I think that your reference was. So you always have to be a little careful from pulling film reference from the internet, either through compression or other things. Like people will change the colors of them or make them darker or make them brighter. So just one thing to be aware of. I think you nailed it, because I think we actually lifted ours past the reference to kind of match it. But either way, great job. Really good job.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Duncan, cool. This is, I like the updates from this. I like the the woman now taking a little bit more of an active role in the shot, like she's performing a task. I still think that like, so this is my test always. Like I kind of, you can either blur. Actually, we'll do that too. You can either blur the image if you're in an application like a Photoshop, and kind of see where your eye is going. Another thing is that people do is they will flip the image over to kind of take away the basics. And one of the things about this is like you realize that your eyes kind of, this might be too much blur, but like your eyes kind of drawn back there to the middle, and you kind of lose this stuff around the edge. And that's because the value is often quite the same. And really the things that are different are all different back in here. And that's because this is the brightest part of the image. This color is different than the kind of magenta warms around the perimeter. And really what we want is we want the audience looking in here. And yet this light is bright, but like when I squint at this stands out more because it's like more vibrant. Another good test for that is if you put just a black color and then use the color operation. Actually, that does a little bit brighter. So your eye is drawn there, but the character herself has like, this is a luminosity test or like a luminance or value test. She doesn't have a lot of distinction from the surroundings. So basically it's a long way of saying a couple things. One, we need to figure out how to get her to pop a little bit more, in that I really think that we need to tie whatever this bright thing is, well, let's tone that down. And it's okay that there's this kind of blue light in there. But what we really want is we need to have this light creating some sort of like a rim light on her, and then the ambient light on her to be increased as well, or just like the key light. Because really what I want, it's not that, is you see like how her values, they only kind of start to cap off at like you're only getting like half the value range out of her. So what I'm thinking is we could get her inside of like this, and then she reads off a little bit more. For the background, I actually think the background could probably come up a little bit too. Go a little bit darker, but push the brights a little bit brighter. Now we've got this kind of tunnel of light leading us back to her. Then if we hit her with some rim light around here from this light shining down, we would be in a pretty good spot there. Then we want to make sure to take down the saturation on these apples as they're looking a little bit bright. Now I'm questioning this blue light in here. For now, do me a favor. For now, let's turn off this light and just allow it to go dark back there. Then we can really kind of read things in here. And then maybe we can talk about like bringing that back in or figuring out a way to get that back in. Because there is a way of doing it too, where the light that's hitting back here is actually pointing more this way. That could be it too. Hear me out on this one. Let's turn off this light. Let's make it so she's kind of framed by this light here. And then this light is kind of tilted towards her, so that's actually causing her like maybe a little bit of a blue rim. And this light isn't hitting this wall so much as it is like kind of into this path area and leading to her. So that light is also leading to her. And then everything behind her can be a little bit darker because that light isn't on. And then we can kind of just like focus in on that. Because also one of the things that this light is doing is it's really flattening out these bags on the ground. So let's avoid all that and just have it pushed there. And then turn off the light in this back alleyway to allow some darkness back there. So sorry, that was a little bit confusing. I'll just recap it shortly. For starters, let's turn off this light. Let's focus this light more on her. We'll brighten her up a little bit so she stands out a little bit more, and then gets hit with kind of this blue rim back here. So what I'm envisioning is that because this light goes off, directly behind her gets a little bit darker, but now we have this blue rim that kind of really pops out, and her value gets lifted, so our eye really kind of focuses in on her. And let's try that. Let's try that as a composition. I think that might work out all right. All right, cool. Holly, this is looking good. Looking much better. We've got some things. I think that the scale on the back wall is too big. I would take that down a little bit. The ground is also interesting in that it almost looks like it's out of focus too throughout, like it's out of focus underneath the character. I would just make sure that whatever's there is sharp right at the base of his feet, so it looks like it's falling into the proper depth of field. The light that's causing this specular highlight is good. Let's try broadening it out a little bit. Let's actually physically make it larger so that we can pick up more of a specular highlight down this wing. We've got this coming in here. The value of the leather and the value of the character is starting to come together a little bit. I would kind of push them each in their own ways. Let's take the character and lighten up the character slightly. Something like that. And then for the background, behind the character, it's kind of just grabbing the books for now. And again, it's super mock-up. But if you push back the value of the books a little bit, either in their material or in the lighting, what we're going to have is, like, instead of them kind of coming together, they're starting to separate out a little bit. And now the character is able to pop forward a bit more. Then this will be a little bit broader. Really what I'm seeing is there's just like a lot of small shapes on the character. There's like, you know, kind of this sharp shape in the ear here. There's there's like the sharp shape in the ear here, like little bits here, little highlight in the eye, little highlights. And really what I want is to create like some more large, like not flat, but just a little bit more large shapes. You know what it would also help? I'm realizing, I'm looking at the resolution of this. Can you like render it larger so that it's, instead of 500 by 580, maybe try one overnight where it's like 1000 by 1160. So we just like feel it at a larger resolution, because it's just a still, so I think we'd be able to get away with that. I think that might help too. But definitely take down the scale on the back wall. Depth of field helps a lot. That's really great. All right, last up we have Amanda. So just looking at some lovely Halloween references as we're approached that season. Nice pumpkin. I like the glow of this, the variation in there. I like that reference. I think we should pull that in here. So more glow on the inside, like a real bright in there, like a real light source. You can see it a little bit kind of spilling out here onto the grass, but I think we can amp that up a little bit. Because the inside of the pumpkin is so orange and the light itself is warm, you really want to spill some light out of there. And I really want to feel it radiating out from this one point. This is like one of the few times you would use a point light, because it'll just radiate it out from right there, which would be really good. Let's see. So we've got that. We've got the moonlight coming in. I like the color of the moonlight. There's a weird kind of spotlight that's around the character. I think that can go darker. So I would just keep all the light on the background as a skylight, and then allow this to spread out this way. I like the idea of the candles back here, but I don't necessarily know. I think we should turn them off. I think that for now, anyway, we can add them later. But for now, let's like really kind of zero in on focusing on this character in the foreground. Now the character itself, I think it's super cute, for one. Two, I want to tie it more into the scene in that, so now we're going to have this orange light kind of emanating from there. It'd be really cool to get like a real subtle, like we were talking about earlier, like a real subtle rim light on there to kind of connect all those elements together. In terms of the composition itself, the spotlight, I like that it's out, it's cool that it's out in front of the character a little bit. But it's like the composition's like kind of left leaning. I want to just shift that light a little bit more this way so that the character kind of enters into it a little bit more. Or yeah, just because everything's like this is close to the edge, this is more close to this edge. There's a lot of room between the pumpkin and this wall, and everything's just kind of like leaning that way. So I think that, and the fact that this light isn't quite centered is also, it feels a little left heavy. Anyway, like this rim light on there. That's nice. So you're getting some good shaping on this. I also think that we need some sort of color in this light. I think that you should possibly, like if we look at, like imagine this light is the light on the porch there. It's spilling warmth. So let's really get some warmth in there as well. Because I think you can really make a nice like warm artificial light combined with cool nighttime light into the scene and really make something nice. And then you'll want to add some sort of like displacement or height or something to the ground. Because like over here it looks fine, but then as you get here you can see the specular highlight, and it's like it just looks like a photo. It looks like a poster of pavement on the ground there. Let's see what else. Warm light, cool light there. So even if you turn this light off, also like another reason why I think we should turn this light off is there's a lot of like shadow craziness going on there from the multiple light sources, and I think if we just turn it off, that would solve that. But even if you turn that off, I love the idea of keeping this in because this could almost be like moonlight. And then just keep that a little bit on the cool side if it's more from the moon than anything else. And then this light and this light are warm, and everything else is kind of cool. For the final version, we'll also want to probably throw in some depth of field, so make the background a little bit blurry. And I also want to darken. There's a part of me that just kind of wants to darken what's back there. Let's see. Just to kind of create some more depth. Like if that's darker in that alleyway back there. There's just like a little more visual interest there. And then for this pumpkin. Somewhere in this region. There we go. That's the darkness level on that. That's not right. But basically, just like a little bit more glow out of the what's going on inside the mouth and areas, and then we can spill that a little bit. All right, that is all, everyone, for today. If you have any questions, definitely let me know, and I will be back again tomorrow for a written critique. But in the meantime, happy lighting, everybody. Talk to you soon. Peace. See you guys.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.